Hello, 10th standard student. Welcome to St. Joseph's School. The second part of the lesson, a letter to God. Here, come start with the second part. So in the first part we saw that Lencho had ruined everything because of the hailstorms and problem. So what he has now to do, because he was lonely and a stranger in that hillside where in the village he was living. So he has now only hope that God will help. Here there is conversation between the members wherein they say that in the solitary house in the middle of the valley, they are conversing that if no help is there, then hunger will not kill us. That conversation goes up, and that is also proved by science that if people have not got food, then also they survive for a longer period of time. The students here, Lencho has tremendous faith in God. All through the night he is thinking what he will write to God. God, whose eyes has yet been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. See, faith in God. It is tremendous faith in God. We have seen in legends that once they have faith in God, everything goes right with it. We'll see in the case of Lencho also over here. In this context, I come across a poem where conscience and going through the right path, not by the unfair means, by having faith in God. I'd like to explain this poem to you, wherein it reads, "Let thy converse be sincere, thy conscience as the noonday clear, for God all-seeing eye surveys thy secret thoughts, thy works and ways." So here what the lines are very easy to understand. In the context of Lencho, you can see the faith in God. When you have to converse, whatever you do, talk, you should be sincere in that. Your conscience should be known. Conscience meaning even on the side. See over here, the inner voice that tells you are doing right or wrong. That inner voice is called your conscience. Thy conscience. Thy means you. Your conscience as the noonday clear. When noonlight is there, everything is clear. For God all-seeing eye surveys. God has got the eyes to survey, and He surveys everyone. Whatever is happening, He surveys that. Thy secret thoughts, whatever secret thoughts is going in your mind, or thy works and ways, what work you are doing, by what means you are doing, wrong or right, that God knows that. So Lencho was instructed by his religious teachings that, God knows everything. So he's saying things that now the only hope is that he will write to God. So he writes a letter, though he was a man of ox. He writes, man of ox means he's working as an animal in the field. He can work very hard. And as you know, those who are working hard, they are not good at writing skills. But yet, here we will see the Lencho is writing also effectively, being a hard worker. How he does that? The following Sunday, he writes, when he's free in the Sunday time at daybreak, he starts writing and writes to God, "If you don't help me, my family and we are going to starve. We are going to, die of hunger. So please, God, you help me. I need 100 pesos. Peso is a Latin currency that he's asking from God. For what he needs that? For the crop which has been destroyed. He wants to again sow the seeds. At the same time, he has to have the money to spend for the household matters. That also he needs. For calculation of 100 pesos is 2 ways. He did to get God, and he took the envelope, and he himself went from the village to the post office in the town where the post office was situated. He takes the letter and puts it into the mailbox. Now the postman who is there, he sees that, and he takes the mail from the mailbox and starts laughing that it is addressed to the God. So he takes it to his boss, the postmaster, and tells him what is written in this particular letter. Sir, see, it's addressed to God. So at that time, the postman and the postmaster are laughing, over this matter, that not any case has happened where in a post office any address to the God is there without mentioning of anything. God is directly addressed. It's the first time. As a postman also, he has come to know that such an address he has never seen in his life. So he was an amicable, postmaster was an amicable person. He was loving and amicable. So here he also breaks into laughter. Okay, never has this happened. Immediately turns up serious, but at the time he becomes serious. He comments then. What he comments? What a faith in God this man is having. He is addressing directly to the God. What faith. I wish I started up a correspondence with God. I wish I too have this type of faith and I can also correspond like this fellow is doing. Starting up a correspondence with God. God के साथ direct correspondence. So this correspondence he sees with the God, he tries to now help him, that he doesn't want to break the faith which Lancho is having in the God. So here what he does, he opens the letter. He thinks that it must be a normal help he must be needing, but when he opens it, he's upset. He says, wow, it is not an easy thing. 100 pesos I have to collect for this fellow. So he does what? Getting the money to collect, he is not he's upset, but he's strong in his resolution. He's stuck to the resolution. That means he is sure that I will definitely help whatever effort I'll have to make for it. So now the 100 peso he wants to collect, he asks his employees to contribute something. He himself parts away with part of his salary. He also asks his friends and colleagues to get some contribution for this as a charity. Anyone of his friends are also obliged that you also help, and that way he collects the money, but he cannot collect more than half of the money that Lancho has demanded. So what happens then? The next following Sunday, Lancho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter point. So here again, earlier we have seen the following Sunday. Now this again the following Sunday, the writer writes over here. What he means by that? In the time of post office, the mail which was sent to the addressee, that took 3 or 4 days. Again that person would reply, that took 3-4 days. So actually more than 1 week was the time period of correspondence of a single mail. So here another thing you need to know is, how come Lancho goes to the post office? The duty of the postman is there to deliver the letter or the envelope to the concerned person. In this case, Lancho, he would have got at home. But why? These are desperate people, desperate for money. Lancho wanted money, and when I will get? If the postman roams and goes through houses, and maybe he sometimes misplaces and he might not get the mail, he is doubtful. These people who are desperate are doubtful. In history of post office, many such cases we have seen. So here we see that Lancho comes and asks for any mail is there. The postman immediately hands him over the envelope containing the money. He opens the money, and at the time the postmaster also seeing and having a sense of contentment that I have done something for this man. He wants from God. Maybe he is not getting from the God, but we have contributed and kept his faith alive in him. Lancho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing. Now what's the reaction of Lancho? He reacts that way. as if nothing of surprise is there. He had told to God, give me 100 pesos, he was expecting, and he got it. Things like that. But he counts the money, the pesos, he becomes angry. God should not have made a mistake. Why 70 pesos are there in this? Where are the 30 pesos gone? God who did not deny him also. You have demanded 100, I'll give only 70. No, he has faith in God. So something in between has happened. He doubts. So here, further what happens? He is confident that I will have to write a letter to God again for the deficit of money, the lack of money that I have received. I have to do something about that, remind God of that. So again he takes the paper and pen and starts writing on the post office writing table, for the public is there. He sits there, scratches his head, wrinkles his forehead to think what I have to write effectively, that God will send the remaining amount also. Immediately Lencho went up to the window, asked, he goes there, and then when he writes it, he puts it into the envelope and to God he writes. And then we can see over here that the envelope, which is stuck by the stamp, is leaking and sticking. Leaking means putting the stamp in the mouth, getting it wet, and then sticking in with a thumb of his fist. He affixes the stamp and puts it into the post box. So here we see that obviously the postmaster is very eager to know what he must have written in the letter now. Here, when he opens it, takes the letter from the mail and reads it, opens the envelope and reads it, at that time, what he reads? He reads that, God, I asked you for $100, 100 pesos, and these pesos you sent only out that 70. Please send me the remaining. I need it very urgently. And do one thing in particular, don't send this money through the mail, because this post office employees are a bunch of crooks. He says that they are unfaithful. Imagine how much hurt this postmaster must be, how much effort he has made to collect this money of 70 pesos, and for that he himself contributed. He asked his employees, he even consulted his friends and obliged them to give the money for charity. So much he did, to get this money and get it collected for the cause of venture. A good deed done with goodness in heart. But what in return he gets? What in return is the abuse rather than the satisfaction. Can I imagine over here, understand the situation of the postman over here. So postmaster and postman and the other employees. So here we can see that a good deed done in the world is not always appreciated. One thing that. Secondly, if at all you want to get your work done, then you should hear the voice of your conscience. You should converse in a positive and sincere way, because God is seeing the secret thoughts and the work and ways which you are doing the work. So, keep in mind this, because had Lencho resorted to unfair means, he would have definitely been on the wrong side of life. He would have been imprisoned, or he would have got caught, and he would have been imprisoned or whatever. So here, unfair means should be avoided. Your conscience diverts you to the right or wrong. That you have to decide. Be very clear with your conscience, and that way it's up to you whether to get your work done in a sincere, in a fair way, keeping the fear of God and faith of God, or to do by unfair means. And secondly, if any good deed you do in life, don't expect that you get in return the good deeds in return. Because you've seen in this case of the postmaster, he wanted some good reaction on the part of Lancho, but what he does, he gets abused, and that way he gets dejected. So these morals you have to write in this answers of your text. Complete this text, and afterwards I will let you know the assignment questions which will be given to you in the next period. Thank you.